I replied to one comment the other day. It took nearly a day for the actual comments page bit to open up and present itself, shall we say. Which, just to reinforce, or for anybody who's new or meandering through, I do read the comments, but our connection is so pre-90s, it's the 1790s, that just replying to them is almost impossible. It just doesn't happen. So, one way or the other, in the last video, which was, not really videos, are they? Anyway, in the last film, for want of a better phrase, which was the Airfix Sterling, Short Sterling, part 1. Part 1, eh? Get on with it. Somebody left a comment because I'd mentioned, well, some people have left a comment, but one in particular, wonder if I should start this again. Nah, don't bother. Some people had left comments, and one was about the figures of the crew, because I was saying how there's a particular figure who I've mentioned before is my favourite, the Airfix one with the big kind of high altitude gear on for bombers, and he's got a fine oxygen mask and all of that. One leg forward, one arm forward. One of the finest bits of crew sculpture in the universe. And you get two of them, they sit side by side and they look a little bit sort of cloned like that, so I'd swapped one out and put another character in. And I won't mention names, but the commenter was saying how they'd done similar and how you can get Revel, ground crew and pilots and all of that kind of thing. Which leads me on to this at last. You're thinking, what's that got to do with the Dornier DO17E/F? Nothing, but in this beautiful box, which I think is absolutely gorgeous, we have a collection of worthy figures. Some of you may notice some very old Airfix ground crew from various nations, and also, I mean, oh, naughty boy, even what are they called, submarine crew and that kind of thing from different companies. Just to fit them in the box, I had to take the other boxes apart, but here's the Revel, German Air Force, World War II. Very, very good figures from another company whose name I can't remember. It was on the tip of my tongue then, and it's gone. And here is the superb RAF one. These are getting harder to find. And before I did this film, I looked on the internet, I looked on eBay, and my goodness, the price, there's only one pack of the German ones at the time I am, doing this. There's only one pack, and they cost a bomb, and people were bidding, and it was going up all the time. So, bad news. I think Revel need to... Oh, I've got tank crew. Anyway, I think Revel need to put them out again, don't you? Anyway, let's have a look in this box to see what remnants of it I've got, and I'll tip a couple of these out just to have a little wander through. But it's a good point, basically. Crew inside aircraft models can leave a lot to be desired, and also there's a lot you can do with them, because you can, at times, depending on the aircraft, you can see a lot through the glassware. Well, the tragedy is, it seems I've hardly got any of the RAF ones left, so I won't kind of fiddle about them. Instead, we'll look at the Luftwaffe ones. These are the... you kind of get a reasonable tree of sprues. I've snapped off the... don't know what you call them. Batches. Anyway, so here's a batch. You can see there's one guy is definitely sitting down, the rest are crew or pilots clambering in or posing. Dogs appear here and there, which is always a good thing actually. Kind of, yeah, him, I think I'll come back to that. So yeah, pilots clambering, ground crew, pilots clambering. There's a sitting down fella, and then here's a bunch of sitting down fellas. So we'll turn this round and have a good look. Very handy actually. And then I've got there's a bit of a mixed bag literally, but that's mostly Luftwaffe characters, I think. Yes, Airfix ones from a very long time ago. Then we've got Revel NATO figures, a jumble of bits and pieces including the leftovers of the Revel RAF. Over here we kind of saw into this bag a bit before, but a lot of RAF ground crew from Airfix. Then a bag of lower halves taken from all kinds of sources, it has to be said, but if they vaguely look like they're sitting down then all well and good. And of course with most of these figures, if they are appropriate for being inside the cockpit, then obviously you can cut the lower half off and possibly even mould the lower half. Here's an inappropriate character who, again, in things like gun turrets, you could pop him in and give him the right oxygen mask and so on. There's a very good clambering Luftwaffe fella sitting. But then we come over here. Here is an RAF man who was in an aircraft that I dropped. So I rescued him and some of his friends. And here is also another one. Sorry about the bags, but things get really complicated. What is really interesting in the Revel RAF figures is there are at least one, if not two, guys with paperwork in their hands. Very handy. Maps, plans and so on. So this is the pile. All of these people are potentially ground crew or pilots, and I deploy them from time to time. I don't always say that I've done it, but it's good that they actually at some point made them. It's bad that they don't anymore. I know there are other companies make this kind of thing, but they're harder to get hold of. So these generally are sort of, or were, very common and easy to find on the general market. So yeah, I really like them. So that's our very tempting wander down memory lane, I suppose, and also down over-imaginative tampering with things lane, where you end up sort of starting on a downward path to mucking about in all kinds of ways. But I think swapping a pilot here and there or a bombardier I'll allow myself to get away with. Just worth saying, any of the paintwork on these figures is from when I was a kid. Can't remember what year Airfix started putting the different ground crew out, but I was snapping them up when they came out, so I was probably 11 or 12, and not the wisest model maker. What I also found is that between all of them, where you've got the ground crew, basically men in overalls with caps, you could kind of mix and match them if you painted them in the appropriate uniform. So end up with, let's say, some American characters in the Luftwaffe and things like that. Nice bomb and trolley there, and then the RAF guys and those. So I could go on and on forever, therefore I won't. But anyway, a great comment, and worth exploring this, because I've been meaning to do it for some time. There we go. What a nice array of figures, and a brilliant reason for hanging on to a Dornier box, I feel. There we go. So, right, let's go do something else. Probably got to do some chores. I feel like a kid again. Oh well. Thanks for watching anyway, and please do come again. It's always a pleasure. I enjoy doing this. Silly man. Just a couple of special mentions, because as a kid I learned you could cut up some Airfix figures and glue them together if you treated them with extraordinary care. This guy was walking along with just an arm down, and I've taken this arm from a different figure. Might even be from the Airfix paratroopers, British paratroopers, and got him waving his paperwork at who knows what pilot. Like I say, painted when I was a kid, so forgive me. And then this one, because you get quite a few of these and they're really good, I just altered the right arm, put somebody else's right arm on, and never got round to painting him up. So who knows, might do that one day. And then finally I found in amongst them all this fella, who should actually be climbing into an American truck by Hasegawa, which means I think I must have got him and painted him up around about 1974 or even 73. And somehow, I don't think the truck survives, but somehow he has survived through thick and thin and many a move. So well done him. He needs he needs putting somewhere good, doesn't he, for heroic purposes. Bit of a tidy up of the paintwork, and he should be given prime place somewhere. It's funny, his trousers look blue, but I've painted them dark brown. Oh, hang on. Bear with me. Can't turn this torch off. What a waste of time that was. Still look a bit blue, don't they? Anyway, they're dark brown. But there they are. Three interesting attempts at, or two interesting attempts at coming up with slight variation on a theme, and one guy who's just heroic.